Hi there, my name is Tercy Engelhardt, and I want to welcome you to uh, Unreasonably Grateful Podcast 2026. Grateful to have you here, grateful to be here. I'll share more about that in this episode. But yeah, so grateful for this vehicle for connecting, bringing us together, sharing stories, being a part of one another's healing, becoming the best version of ourselves. It sometimes I say that and it just sounds simple, and I'm so clear it isn't simple. So we need each other. We can't do it alone. And I'm also very clear about that. And so, yeah, welcome. A reminder, I'm sharing tidbits of wisdom from this year to be 40 years of healing after living an addictive lifestyle for 20 years with an eating disorder, recovering from teenage abuse. And I don't have your answers. Your journey, while it may have a lot of similarities, is your journey. And your answers are yours, and you have them, not me. But we can learn from other people's experiences. And when they share, we hear something and it gives us a clue and maybe leads us on our next step, taking the next step in our own lives. And that's how we walk together, is encouraging each other along to take our next step. And, life's not easy. And so it's great to have a little support and sometimes a little guidance and encouragement. So welcome, welcome, welcome to 2026. So if you read the description of this at all, this was a tough start for me. New Year's Eve, I got sick. And then I had this crazy stomach bug flu. And then I thought I was getting better. Now we're dairy farmers, so I still have to milk 6 cows every day and navigate and process what's currently about 16 gallons of milk. And so I still have to do that, but I move a lot slower. And I ask my husband to help me a lot more. But other than that, that's pretty much all I did. I didn't do a whole lot else. And if I did, I took a really long time to do it, which isn't my normal mode of operation. However, um, then after that bout of stomach flu, I ended up with just the craziest headache that wouldn't go away no matter what. And I just kept saying, I can't even think. I can't think straight. And then that headache kind of went into another huge bout of intestinal issues. And today's the 9th, and I basically haven't had any solid food for 9 days. And now I'm on kind of rebuilding my GI system. And I just graduated from clear liquids to clear liquids with a spoonful of probiotic yogurt with some salt on it. So I went yesterday. So what happened was, I'm pretty good at just pushing through, letting myself heal. Um, I do the minimal for sure, but then my daughter-in-laws gave me some great suggestions. So I did some activated charcoal, and then my other daughter-in-law yesterday, when I said, I can't imagine getting well. And that kind of scared me. Like, I'm kind of a positive, outgoing person. And the idea that I was so deep in it, I couldn't imagine being well. Like, I would look at other people doing normal things and think, I don't know how they're doing that. How do they do that? And so my daughter in law, who's a beautiful healer out of Santa Cruz, California, said, you need help. You need a vitamin IV drip and some hydration. You're dehydrated. So she looked up mobile IVs, but we ended up finding this really amazing resource here in Sandpoint. And I called and they were able to get me in. My husband took me and I did a full liter of, all these vitamins and minerals and hydration. And it was a lovely place. Love it, love it, love it. And so grateful to have discovered it. They also do, like other healing modalities, infrared and ozone. And anyway, lovely group of nurses with an overseeing physician. Anyway, that's where I got the protocol for okay, how do I get my GI system functioning again? And yeah, it feels good. But I want to say a little bit about this because I'm curious. I actually have this insight. Wow, I actually got what I wanted. I don't know if you ever have that experience of you want something, you don't think it's probably available. And then when you get it, it's maybe not as easy as you thought it was going to be. And you wonder, was I really clear I wanted that? And here's what I mean by that. Now, maybe this applies more to us who have dealt with addiction. Maybe not. Maybe it's a human thing. Maybe it's just a my thing. But I always wanted to like get a fresh start on my body because I've messed around with it so much. Particularly, for somebody who deals with an eating disorder, particularly through your digestive and your GI system. And I always thought, well, oh, wouldn't it be great if you could have a fresh start, like just a new system, and I could start again knowing what I know now. Now, most of us who have dealt with addiction, when people ask, would you want to go back and do it again? We're all, no, thanks, because I think we recognize we could easily stumble over some of the same things, or what if we made the same mistake, or maybe there's different mistakes with even worse consequences. So whatever, most of us say no. But there's some areas where I would have said yes. Like I haven't been kind to my body. I remember I've shared this on a previous episode, but I remember when my mother was actually dying. She was in bed dying. And she looked at her arms and she just said, "Oh, sweetie, I'm so glad your father's never had to see me like this." My dad passed away before my mom. Talking about just, not great skin elasticity and, thin and bony and whatever. And I remember thinking, oh, I hope I don't go down that road. I hope I transform this familial thing beyond that. And, we all have those familial things, whatever they may be. My husband's got a like fat phobia thing. He notices fat people and I notice like beautiful people who are in shape and always think, oh wow, to be able to go back again and to build a healthy body. Now, I do a pretty good job of keeping up with my 75, soon 76-year-old body, but it's not like, when I look at my grandkids or even my kids, I'm just like, oh, it's so beautiful. It's so amazing. Now, they probably don't think that about their bodies either. They get along further in life. They'll look back and probably, why wasn't I appreciating myself? I do that to my pictures from my past as well. But it's the thing. It's not that you do, it's that thing. What is that has us be dissatisfied and hard on ourselves, that judges ourselves? What is it that thinks that we have to look a particular way to, I don't know, have a great relationship, or I don't know, to be liked, or to be, whatever it is, or just, what is that? What is that thing that had my mother say as she was dying? Oh, I'm so glad your daddy never had to see me like this. So, anyway, that's what I'm committed to transforming. And so I've always had this, I wish I could just begin with a fresh system. I mean, I have that sometimes over, when if I do something or something breaks, or I want to start over, or when I swam Alcatraz, when I swam out aquatic park, out around, got to the backside, the tide changed, I got washed out the Golden Gate Bridge, and immediately it was like, I want to do it again tomorrow. And as crazy as that sounds, fortunately the guy who was scouting me, watching me in a little platoon boat, looked up the barge schedule and all that, blah blah blah, shipping lanes, and anyway, I was able to go the next day, and I was able to get out all the way around and back in. But that thing that says, I want another chance, I want to do it again. I've had that my whole life. And I've often said, I just want to like build my build my GI system, my digestive system, fresh, new. Well, I'm getting to do that. And so while it's been excruciating, and I hope I never have to do it again, and I'm working really hard to follow the directions that I was given on how best to sort of reboot a system that's gotten down to like nothing. Um, it's like, yeah. And so now that I'm actually on that phase, I'm encouraged. And since the vitamin trip yesterday, I could begin to believe I would get better, which is amazing. I'm very excited about that. And I realized God gave me exactly what I wanted. I just didn't know it was going to take this. And I think that's true for all of us. There's things that we want that I think would be willing for us to have, and they're probably going to take more than you expected. But if you can stay in the process and trust that you're being led or guided, and even in the depths, even when I plummeted to the depths of despair, I did trust the process. And I could feel that cellular garbage was just being pulled out of me. Long held shame, maybe regret, remorse was being pulled out. And so it's turned out that it's actually a beautiful thing. So I want you to take a look at what is it that you would really like to have, even though you may not know exactly what it might take. And be willing to let yourself have that. Okay? I'll be here next week. I look forward to seeing you then. Let's take another fresh start at 2026 and make it a really great year of new beginnings. All right. See you next week.